My husband laid his hands on me because my coworker talked to me at work. My husband cheated on me for 2 years. However, every time he gets a new friend, he thinks I am into them or making love with them. I got from him because I hugged his friend after helping his wife give birth at home and his friend was trying to say thank you. I didn't want to hug the guy anyway, but I was being polite and we were in their house. I got a new job at a restaurant, and one of my coworkers is really attention-seeking, and he is dating another girl coworker. We have karaoke nights on the Mondays that I work, and the coworker always comes and sings a lot and is drunk. I don't talk to this dude or acknowledge him because my husband thinks he is attention-seeking. I sang a song at karaoke, and my coworker commented on it. Now my husband is mad because he says I don't have boundaries when I ask him to have boundaries with women. His friend was a few hours late to meet up with him the other day. I was home alone and cleaning the house and had music on. My husband called me 10 times and I didn't notice because I was cleaning it and didn't have my phone. I also missed a call from my friend. I answered his last call, and he accused me of having his friend over and making love with him. We even had a friend who was a homeless junkie dude, and the friend talked to me about how he's making love with some dude's wife while my husband was right there picking stuff up. He got mad at me for having that conversation, and I agreed that it was inappropriate and won't talk to him by myself anymore. Junkie dude made dinner another night and he was being really insecure about his cooking and kept asking if it was okay, so I told him it was great because I honestly wanted him to shut up. I mentioned how my husband makes amazing food. I was punished for a week over this and there was violence. Today, we were arguing because the coworker thing happened last night. He wanted to leave so I tried to get in the car to stop him. He got in the car and told me what he was going to do and then it started. It was bad. I opened the car door and yelled for my landlord to help as she lives right on the property. She helped us calm down and he apologized and says he doesn't like having rules on him. I asked him to have boundaries with women. The advice I'm really looking for is, has anyone ever been with someone who is very traumatized? He was a child refugee from Africa. His relationship with his mom is bad. She showed no love. Him and his siblings starved so that she could buy gold jewelry and she stole all their money. He was in a relationship with a woman 20 years older than him who has 7 children and is an alcoholic and physically hurtful and cheated on him the whole time and severely put him down. I have a lot of empathy for him and have seen him grow a lot and am proud of him for how far he has come, but also some things like his insecurity are not changing fast enough for me to even be or feel safe. I had a hard life. I was harmed a lot as a child. I was put in lockdown facilities from 13 to 18 because my parents listened to therapists and thought I was mentally ill. Despite all of these things, I am an extremely positive and optimistic person. I learned how to heal myself, and in the lockdowns, I learned how to find freedom within myself when I had nothing. I have always been psychologically aware and intelligent in the way that I can help people, help myself, and I can understand what is going on in people's hearts. I see the true person that wants to be free in him who is caged by all of his pain, but it has taken a toll on me. His cheating made me lose myself and I was a shell of a human until recently. I have been getting back up on my feet, but I feel like because I have better energy now, men are becoming more attracted to me, and now my husband is starting to become paranoid and insecure again when I have never betrayed him like that, and I never will. But when you're paranoid, everything you see feeds your assumptions. I guess I am just wondering, has anyone been with someone so traumatized and had to be patient for their growth? I can deal with a lot, and I know that humans are complex. I don't expect a perfect person. Thank you for taking the time. Update, it's been a month, and he is gone. I let him keep the car because it was the only way to get him to leave as soon as possible. My family came. It was the longest we had gone without seeing each other. He had us hating each other for the past year, so it was really nice for everyone to reconnect and for me to remember who I am. They helped me get a car. But the main thing is that I love my life. Literally, wow. Existing is amazing. I'm so happy to own my life and not to live in fear anymore, not to have so much hatred and paranoia inside of me. I started to become someone I never wanted to be in that relationship, my own anger and violence. I thought the only way to get out was to let him finish me off because things had gotten so codependent. All the cheating on me made me feel so attached to him. I wanted him to fix how I felt. My past relationships were bad, but in a more calm way. I was not used to something like that. I never understood why people stayed in hell like this, but here I found myself. For anyone else who also feels stuck, freedom is right around the corner. It hurts, but if you go through it, things get better so much faster than you can ever imagine. I can't explain how amazing my life feels now so quickly. Thank you everyone for your support and words and honesty. I am so happy to be alive. I found out why my husband hides his best friend from me, and I don't think there's anything I can do about it. I, 26 female, have been married to my husband Dylan, 26 male, for 3 years. We got together when we were 17, but we've known each other since the 4th grade. I love my husband. He's the total package. Funny, sweet, smart, and attractive. He's made my life amazing and he's who I fully intended on spending the rest of my life with. We attended all the same schools from the time we met, up until college. In that time we've both made our own friend groups. He's been more connected with his friends than I have, and because of that I've become a part of the group as well. I'd like to think, in that time, I've been at around 50% of their group hangouts, mostly because of my job, but sometimes I'm just straight up not invited. I didn't question any of this because hey, they're his friends. He doesn't see them nearly as often as he sees me. It's not my business. My husband met his best friend Caro 27 male long before he met me. I knew almost nothing about Caro up until recently. He wasn't at our wedding, nor did he attend any of the same schools as us, and I was under the impression he wasn't friends with anyone in our group. I thought all of this was because of his line of work, as I was told he traveled a lot. Last year me and my husband went to a barbecue hosted by another couple in the group. Caro was there. I didn't recognize him at first, but when I realized who he was, I was honestly kind of shocked. I'd seen him in person before, but he always kept a very good distance from me, which I'm realizing now was intentional. Anyways, he's totally stunning. He looks like he could be a supermodel. When I attempted to make conversation with him, he seemed really nervous and totally shut me down after a few sentences. When I mentioned this behavior to anyone else, they also shut me down, saying things like, "That's just how he is," or, "Maybe you said something that offended him." In short, no one would tell me anything about Caro at all. Any conversation that involved him was a no-go. At the end of that night, I tried talking to Dylan about his behavior. He told me Caro didn't like me. I was confused, because I'd hardly seen him in person at all, let alone actually talk to him. The excuse my husband gave was that he disliked me because I cheated on my husband once in college and Caro was too stubborn to let it go. I've seen Caro less than a dozen times since then, mostly at birthday parties, huge get-togethers, and on one occasion he came to our house to watch a football game with my husband and a few of their other buddies. Anyways, a few weeks ago my husband went fishing with his cousin. That same night, I had some of the girls in our friend group over for a girls' night type thing. Lily, 24 female, was scrolling through some social media. I was glancing over her shoulder when I saw a selfie of Dylan and Caro sitting next to each other in a hot tub. The selfie had been posted maybe 30 minutes ago. I asked Lily about what I had seen, and she went pale. She tried saying nothing, but I snatched the phone from her and went to the profile that posted the photo. The profile belonged to my husband. It was a private profile, and scrolling through the photos, most of them were dirty jokes or memes, but the rest of them were photos of him and Caro. Either they were hanging out alone, or with the rest of the group, minus me. Most of the photos they seemed way too close, too touchy, or doing things that seemed too personal or intimate for friends to be doing. I spent a good 10 minutes looking before I couldn't take it anymore. I was horrified. All of the photos were dated to nights my husband told me he was working late, hanging out with this relative or that, times that he told me he was doing something else, and obviously hangouts I wasn't invited to. Lily just sat there looking dumb. She didn't say anything, but all the girls were looking at us like a bomb had just gone off. They clearly knew what I had seen, and their reactions were enough to confirm exactly what I was afraid of. I was livid. I started yelling. Lily was crying and then the rest of the girls were freaking out. When I started to calm down and demanded that they explain what was going on, Lily told me everything. Dylan and Caro had been intimate together, and very essentially dating behind my back since before we even got married. They got together during a 1-month break me and Dylan had during college, and they stuck together ever since. They all knew, and none of them told me until I found out the hard way. Caro wasn't at our wedding because he felt guilty. He avoided me like the f***ing plague because he felt guilty. They arranged group meetups in a group chat I wasn't in, because they all liked Caro enough to spare his feelings. Even the guys in the group felt the same way about him. Apparently, Caro was never as distant as I thought he was. He was just being hidden. Dylan was hiding him from me because he didn't want me to find out they were together. By the end of it, half of us were sobbing, and everyone who wasn't was apologizing to me. I was so angry. I made them swear they wouldn't say anything to Dylan or anyone else. I kicked them all out, and cried myself to sleep. I was basically in denial, like it was some kind of sick prank. My husband didn't come home until the next morning. He told me all about the supposed fishing trip he'd went on. I didn't say anything about what I knew. I guess he could tell something was up, because he kept asking me what was wrong, all day, every 5 minutes. Eventually I just told him I'd been in an argument with my sister. By the end of the week, I was totally numb. Last night, I saw a notification pop up on his phone. Since I knew his password, I opened it. It was a text from Caro. I looked through the conversations they'd had. It confirmed everything. It was devastating. Dylan texted Caro the exact same way he texted me. He told Caro he loved him. Every sweet thing he said to me had been said in his conversations with Caro. I was hardly mentioned. I put his phone back before he noticed. Dylan is at work now. I don't know what to do. I could never imagine myself leaving Dylan because he's such a loving partner and a good man, but I can't see myself winning in a competition against Caro if that's what it comes down to. I can't even make myself be disgusted or angered by Dylan. I love him too much. I'm not even upset with Caro, but I'm so hurt. I don't want to risk losing my husband, and I don't want to share him. I called Lily and my sister this morning and told them about what I had found. They both asked what I'm going to do, and I had nothing to say. I don't know what to do at all. Update. Hi, I really appreciate the support and advice I was given on my last post. Dylan came home last night around 10. I had a whole speech prepared to confront him with, but I could only end up saying, I know about you and Caro. I'll spare the details of the conversation because it's still raw, but he left around midnight. He only took a few of his things. I haven't spoken to him since, aside from him telling me he was coming to get more of his things, and after our conversation I've decided to go through with divorce. I've collected all the necessary information, and I'll be getting in touch with a lawyer shortly. Again, Thank you all for the advice and help to come to my senses.
Update 2. I will leave my adoptive family overnight. All I'll leave them will be a letter. I start this by saying that many of your comments suggested that Maria could have potentially manipulated me and that I shouldn't trust her just now, which I understand. I decided to stay with my friend, especially since I applied for so many jobs yesterday and I think I could find one in no time, so there is no reason for me to get back with them as an 18-year-old. But these are just side facts. I would have not given you an update if nothing had happened. Apparently my adoptive parents did realize I was gone recently, so they started looking for me. They are sure that Maria knew where I was, considering she had my letter with her. I'm currently only in contact with Maria, who told me all of this. Apparently my parents tried asking her about my whereabouts and grounded her after she refused to tell them. Yes, they grounded a 21-year-old. Couldn't believe it either. As many of you suggested, I went to the police so they couldn't file a missing report about me. And meanwhile Alicia started to spread rumors again. Apparently she used my disappearance as a proof that she was right with everything and Juliet believes every single word. She is completely under Alicia's control. Even though I didn't want to see them again, I kind of want to give Maria a chance. I asked my friend if hypothetically Maria could stay with us too. He raised an eyebrow and said, only if she wants to sleep on the couch. And then he asked me why I want her here in the first place. The thing is, if she cares about me, then I don't want her to stay with this family. He was annoyed but said yes. I texted her asking if she'd consider to move out and offered her to stay with me and my friend. Before you say it, I know it seems like a way too quick decision, but I truly think that Maria is not like the rest of them. Many of you said that she probably wanted to save face, but someone wouldn't go through all that to find me and then protect me by keeping my whereabouts a secret if they just wanted to save face, considering that I never mentioned their last names or where they live, so it's not like anyone could have known it was her in real life. I honestly think that my story opened her eyes. She answered by asking if I was for real and that she wasn't sure. I reminded her that she is 21 and probably should think about moving out of our parents' house anyway, and that she was grounded at her age is pretty effed up. They treat their children like 10-year-olds even if they are adults. She said she is not denying that she would like that because apparently Alicia also started to spread lies about her too because of how she behaves towards me. She overheard how she was talking to her friends about her and that she was called the complicit of a maniac. Still don't know why Alicia hates me so much, but I don't care about it. She said she doesn't think it's a bad idea, but she wants to find a job to have a financial stability first before moving out. That was fair enough, and my friend was much happier this way too. He said he isn't really excited of having another jobless person living with him, but he said that if she has a job he'd gladly help her. One more reason why I think that Maria moving out isn't a bad idea is because if both her and me got a job, we could probably rent an apartment together in no time and would not have any financial problems. So yeah, that's it for now. Let's see what happens in the future. I want to mention one more thing. On my last post some people were talking badly about the TikTok account that shared my story. Please don't talk badly about the account. They didn't know it would end like that, and I don't have a problem with anyone sharing my story. Thank you for reading. Today I messed up when I opened my mouth during an intervention for my girlfriend's brother. Last night was awkward. I was part of an intervention for my girlfriend's brother. I'm gonna call him Joe because his shirt said I am bad. I am evil. I am Mojo Jojo. I had no business being at the intervention, but my girlfriend said my presence would provide emotional support. So, there I was, the fly on the wall, the random dude in the background, watching family and friends explain to Joe that his dinner invitation was nothing more than a lie to lure him into an ambush that might save his life. Joe said he was willing to listen to the rehab pitch as long as there was food because he didn't show up hungry to have fake dinner. Joe was eating while everyone was telling him how much they missed the person he used to be and how all of them wanted to fix the broken person he's become. Not gonna lie, my attention drifted after an hour of hearing different people saying the same things. I was staring at the fish tank behind me when my girlfriend tapped me on the shoulder and indicated that her brother was trying to talk to me. I was as confused as everyone else when I realized Joe was asking me if I had anything to add. I opened my mouth without thinking and said I was just there for the fake dinner. Joe informed all the family and friends that he had no clue who I was, but he liked me. I said my name and explained that I was his sister's boyfriend. Joe decided to approach me and shake my hand. Without letting go, he asked if I was sleeping with his sister. At that moment, my girlfriend interjected and attempted to dismiss the question, but Joe managed to speak over her and said it was someone else's turn to talk. Still squeezing my hand, Joe hugged me unexpectedly and promised to go to rehab as soon as possible if I agreed to share the most R-rated thing I've done with his sister. My girlfriend called her brother a bully and literally pulled me away from him. Joe tapped his watch and said I had less than 60 seconds to tell him something dirty because nothing else was going to convince him to get clean. The family and friends continued with the intervention as if I never got involved and Joe never interacted with me. Joe grabbed his hoodie and made it clear to everyone he was leaving. Joe's parents begged him not to go. It was an emotional plea, difficult to watch. I looked at my girlfriend, who was crying in my arms at that point, and asked should I. My girlfriend and I locked eyes. She understood the question and said no. I said we could tell him about the thing we did on my birthday. My girlfriend asked if I was talking about the messy thing. I said yes. My girlfriend covered her ears and said it was my call. I took a deep breath and yelled I peed on her. Everyone froze. My girlfriend got upset and said she thought I was going to tell her brother about the other messy thing. I asked what other messy thing. My girlfriend became even more upset and asked if I forgot about the night she peed me. I lowered my voice and said everyone was staring at us. Without making eye contact with anyone, my girlfriend practically ran to the bathroom and basically isolated herself for the rest of the evening. Joe said no pun intended, but if I wanted to escape too. The back door was open. It was the most embarrassing moment of my life so far, but something good did happen. Joe gave his phone and his car keys to his parents and agreed to let them drive him to rehab the following day, which is today. My girlfriend is no longer completely mad at me. She said her mom and dad might never look at us the same way again, but for now, they're too busy helping her brother to think about how their daughter and her new boyfriend behave in the bedroom. The end.